My child, stop exactly where you are. Do not scroll past this. Do not let another distraction pull your attention away. I am stepping into your timeline right now, intercepting your thoughts, the endless noise of your day, and the heavy burdens you have been carrying entirely alone. This message did not find you by accident. It is not a coincidence that your eyes are reading these words and your ears are hearing this voice at this exact second. Before you scroll away, before you dismiss this as just another video in a sea of endless content, pause here for a moment. I need you to listen carefully, because what I am about to tell you will change the way you see your current struggle. I know you are profoundly tired. I see the deep exhaustion that you hide so well behind a brave, forced smile. I know about the silent tears that fall when the door is closed and the lights are out, when you think absolutely nobody is watching. I see the heavy sighs, the overthinking that keeps you awake in the middle of the night, and the desperate, silent prayers you have whispered when you felt like you had no strength left to even speak. You have been waiting for so long. You have been standing in the hallway of uncertainty, wondering if I have forgotten you, wondering if your prayers are just bouncing off the ceiling. You look around and see others moving forward, doors opening for them, blessings flowing into their lives. And you ask yourself in the quietness of your broken heart, when is it my turn? Did God forget about me? Did I do something wrong to deserve this endless waiting? Hear me clearly today, my beloved child. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible to me. I have not abandoned you, and your waiting season has not been a punishment. The enemy wants you to believe that my silence means my absolute absence. He wants you to believe that because you haven't seen the breakthrough yet, it is never going to come. Do not believe those toxic lies. The heavy weight of disappointment you are feeling right now is exactly what the enemy uses to steal your hope and drain your spirit. But I am here to tell you with divine authority that your waiting season is officially coming to a close. What you thought was a cruel delay was actually my divine, unseen preparation. Stay here with me. Do not leave before you hear the rest of this truth. Open your heart just enough to stay present and receive the comfort. I am about to reveal why the wait had to happen and what is waiting for you on the very other side of this door. I know there were days when the silence felt absolutely deafening. You looked up at the empty sky and asked, "Are you even there? Do you even care about what I am going through?" My precious child, I need you to understand this with every fiber of your being. While you were waiting, I was working. While you thought you were being buried under the crushing weight of your circumstances, you were actually being planted. I was not delaying your blessing to punish you, nor was I ignoring your desperate pleas. I was preparing you. I was strengthening your spiritual roots so that when the breakthrough finally arrives, you will have the capacity and the wisdom to hold it without it destroying you. Many times you begged me to open certain doors, and you wept bitterly when they remained shut. But you could not see what was on the other side. Some of those doors would have led you straight into heartbreak, betrayal, and destruction. Some people you cried over losing were actually removed by my own hand to protect your destiny. What felt to you like a cruel, painful rejection was, in reality, my divine redirection. I shielded you from storms you didn't even see coming. The waiting season you have hated so much was a shield of grace, not a prison of punishment. I was preserving your soul for what is truly meant for you. Right now, the enemy is working overtime to cloud your mind. He is whispering toxic lies into your spirit. He is telling you that you are too old, too broken, too far behind, and that your best days are forever in the past. He wants you to look at your current bank account, your current struggles, your current loneliness, and feel utter despair. But the enemy is a liar, and he operates in deception. He is terrified of the new season you're about to step into. He knows that your breakthrough is imminent, and he is trying to distract you with anxiety and fear, so you will give up right before you cross the finish line. Do not surrender to his lies. Do not let temporary circumstances dictate your permanent faith. The brutal storm you have been walking through was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you like gold in the fire. The heavy burdens you had to carry are about to be lifted from your tired shoulders. You are so much closer than you realize. If you could only see what I see in the spiritual realm, if you could only catch a small glimpse of the magnificent blueprint I have laid out for your future, your tears of sorrow would instantly transform into tears of absolute joy. Stay with me. Keep your heart open, because what I am about to do next will completely shift the foundation of your reality. My child, I am officially declaring that your waiting season is over. The pages of your life are turning, and a completely new chapter is beginning right now. What was delayed was never denied. Every single tear you cried in the dark has been collected, and every silent prayer you offered when you had no strength left has been heard and recorded in heaven. You have endured the refinement, you have survived the quiet preparation, and now you are about to step into the manifestation of my promises. I am opening doors for you that no man, no system, and no demonic force can ever shut. The heavy chains of stagnation that have held you back for years are breaking off of your life at this very moment. I'm bringing complete restoration to the areas where you experienced profound loss. What the enemy stole from you, your peace, your joy, your finances, your relationships, I am restoring to you in ways that will leave you absolutely speechless. But listen to me very carefully. As this new season approaches, the enemy will try one last desperate attempt to distract you. He knows he cannot stop the blessing that has your name on it, so he will try to make you forfeit it through fear, doubt, and overwhelming anxiety. He will try to make you look at the towering waves instead of looking at me. He will send confusion to cloud your mind and toxic voices to whisper that you are not worthy of this breakthrough. Do not listen to the noise. Fix your eyes entirely on me. You must guard your heart and your mind in this critical hour. Do not allow bitterness over the past delay to poison the beautiful future I have prepared for you. You must let go of the pain of the waiting room so you can fully embrace the joy of the promised land. You are my beloved child. You are chosen, you are worthy, and you are deeply, unconditionally loved. The scars you carry from this difficult journey are not marks of shame. They are magnificent badges of your survival and your unyielding faith. I was holding you when you thought you would break, and I am holding you now as you step into your victory. Stay perfectly still in my presence. Do not rush, do not panic, and do not let fear dictate your next move. I am orchestrating the precise alignment of people, resources, and divine opportunities for your good. Breathe in my peace, let go of your heavy burdens, and prepare your heart to receive the extraordinary breakthrough that is standing right at your front door. I know that stepping into this new season might actually feel a little intimidating to you right now. You have carried the heavy, exhausting armor of survival for so long that you have almost forgotten how to simply live and breathe freely. You have spent years fighting unseen battles, constantly shielding your fragile heart from repeated disappointment, and always bracing yourself for the next unexpected storm. But my beloved child, listen to my voice. You do not need that heavy, suffocating armor here in this new place. The fierce war you were fighting in the shadows has already been won. I am asking you to gently, completely lay down your defenses. You cannot enter this new era of abundant blessing if your hands are still tightly gripping the bitter pain of your past. the people who walked away, the opportunities that suddenly fell through, the doors that violently slammed in your face when you needed them most. You must release them to me now. Forgive those who profoundly misunderstood your journey and abandoned you in your darkest hour. They were simply not equipped to travel to the magnificent destination I have prepared for you. Their departure was not your personal failure. It was my divine protection, clearing the sacred path for your true destiny. As you transition into this beautiful new chapter, your greatest and most important assignment is simply to rest in my unwavering love. Do not try to force doors open anymore. Do not try to manipulate the timing of your miracles. You have done enough striving. You have shed enough tears. Now I am calling you into a profound state of spiritual surrender and peace. When your mind races with sudden anxiety about tomorrow, immediately bring your thoughts back to my eternal promises. When the lingering ghost of your past trauma tries to whisper that this new blessing is too good to be true, silence that toxic voice with my unshakable truth. I do not give fragile, temporary gifts that can be easily snatched away. What I am building in your life right now is established on a solid, immovable foundation that no economic crisis, no envious enemy, and no worldly circumstance can ever uproot. The deep, unexplainable peace I am pouring into your weary spirit right now is the ultimate confirmation that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Look at how incredibly far you have come. You honestly thought the brutal trials of the last few years would completely destroy you. But look at you now. You are still standing, your faith is still intact, and your beautiful heart is still capable of love. That survival is a profound miracle in itself. The enemy threw his absolute worst at you, actively trying to break your spirit and make you walk away from my grace, but you held on. Because you chose to trust me in the darkest, most terrifying valley, I am about to elevate you to the highest mountaintop. I am turning your deepest, most agonizing pain into your greatest, most powerful purpose. The heavy waiting season is officially over, but the glorious journey of your total restoration has just begun. Keep your eyes locked entirely on me. Step forward with unwavering courage and watch how beautifully I orchestrate the remaining pieces of your spectacular breakthrough. My beloved child, let go of the agonizing urge to compare your timeline to anyone else's. I see how often you look at the people around you, watching their sudden victories, their open doors, and their immediate breakthroughs. You look at them, then you look back at your own life and feel as though you are standing completely still in the deep, cold shadows. You wonder why their path looks so effortless and smooth, why their prayers seem to be answered instantly, while your journey has been paved with endless delays, hidden pain, and exhausting silence. But hear my voice clearly today. Their blessing is not your lack, and their speed is not your failure. The world has conditioned you to measure your ultimate worth by your productivity, your visible success, and how fast you can run. It keeps you locked in a constant, frantic state of busyness, convincing you that if you pause for even a second, you will be left behind and forgotten forever. But divine alignment does not operate on human schedules. I do not measure your readiness by days or years. I measure it by the depth of your spirit. If I had released your magnificent breakthrough too early, before your heart was fully prepared, the sheer weight of the blessing would have crushed you instead of protecting you. The long waiting season was never a rejection. It was my unseen preparation, keeping you safe for what is truly yours. Noise often feels safer than silence, because silence invites truth, and truth requires raw, uninterrupted attention. Most people in this world never reach this profound moment of clarity because they are completely overwhelmed by constant input, digital scrolling, and steady distraction. They stay intentionally busy to avoid feeling the unresolved ache inside their souls. They surround themselves with loud, empty voices so they do not have to sit with their own restlessness. But you did not do that. You chose to pause. You chose to step away from the crowd and listen to my whisper. That willingness to stop is the ultimate proof that you are ready for the shift. Do not let pride or comparison enter your heart as the doors begin to open. Stay grounded in deep humility, because humility keeps your spirit teachable and present. You are stepping into a sacred season where divine direction matters vastly more than human speed, and where true depth matters more than mere appearance. Rest your weary mind tonight. Release the anxiety of the past years, because everything that was promised to you is being precisely synchronized by my hand right now. My child, look back at the moments when you felt completely isolated, when the weight of the universe felt too heavy to bear, and you genuinely believed I had walked away from your life. I need to reveal a beautiful, sacred truth to you about those moments of absolute silence. You measured the passing of time by painful days, months, and years of empty waiting. But I was measuring your readiness by the growing depth of your spirit. I was never distant from you. When you saw doors slamming shut in your face, when opportunities you pinned your highest hopes on slowly drifted away, you cried out in deep frustration. You thought you were failing. You thought you had missed your destiny completely. But in truth, I was standing in the gap, actively blocking paths that would have permanently fractured your soul and stolen your future. What looked like a devastating setback from your human perspective was my intense protection in disguise. I was keeping the space open for this sacred moment. I had to slow your life down, because if you had kept running at that frantic, superficial speed, you would have completely missed the deeper call that is rising inside your spirit right now. Think about the painful disappointments you survived. They were not cruel accidents. They were carefully allowed to teach you what empty worldly promises feel like, so that when my absolute truth finally arrives, you will recognize its steady, quiet voice instantly. I allowed you to feel profoundly unsatisfied with surface answers, so you would develop a magnificent hunger for true direction. You had to experience the heavy silence, so you would truly value the pure clarity I'm pouring out today. None of that agony was wasted. It was a holy refinement, softening the hardened, guarded places within you that used to resist my grace. You are no longer the person you were when this long wait first started. Look closely at your heart. Your patience has been stretched. Your tolerance for superficial noise has worn thin, and your spiritual discernment has grown infinitely sharper. You no longer chase what briefly excites the senses. You seek what deeply sustains the soul. That shift did not happen by accident. It happened because the waiting room stripped away all the comforting illusions and left you with pure clarity. You are finally ready to receive without being controlled by the blessing. You are ready to stand firm and unshakable, knowing your true identity is anchored entirely in me. Let this understanding settle deeply into your mind. Do not turn this moment into pressure or anxiety. Destiny does not need your panic. It simply requests your quiet attention. I am not behind you pushing you forward with force, nor am I ahead of you demanding speed. I am walking right beside you, gently guiding each step as it comes. This is not a coincidence. Your life carries a meaning far deeper than you have ever allowed yourself to believe. Stay right here in this stillness with me. Let the truth take root, because this is only the beginning of your restoration. My child, there is something of absolute, critical importance that the enemy never wants you to discover. He knows with absolute certainty that this very moment is the ultimate turning point that will permanently shift the entire landscape of your life. Because he recognizes the immense weight of the breakthrough that is about to manifest, he is currently using his final, desperate attempts to flood your soul with crippling doubt, confusion, and heavy distraction. As you sit here right now in this sacred stillness, trying to listen to my voice, he will actively attempt to whisper toxic thoughts into your weary spirit. He will tell you that nothing is ever going to change for you, that you have failed far too many times to be restored, and that it is simply too late for you to start over or receive my highest blessings. Do not believe those toxic, suffocating lies for even a single second. The enemy deliberately brings up your oldest, deepest wounds and unhealed memories from the past because he wants to shake your foundation. He wants to drag you backward into a vicious cycle of anxiety, shame, and agonizing overthinking. He desperately wants your mind to be completely consumed by the loud, chaotic storms of the world so that you will fail to realize that the entire realm of heaven is moving on your behalf at this very moment. But you must remember this truth. The enemy is completely disarmed and utterly powerless. He can never block, alter, or destroy the magnificent plan of abundance and purpose that I have already established for your future. Fear is not your final destination, and this battle has already been decided by my own hand. I have intentionally closed doors that looked beautiful on the surface to protect you from the hidden dangers underneath, and what you mistook for a painful delay was actually my divine grace shielding your soul. Think back to those long, excruciating nights when you felt completely isolated by the waiting, looking up at what felt like an empty sky, wondering if your prayers were being utterly ignored. My silence has never, ever meant my absence. I need you to understand that right before a spectacular, life-altering breakthrough occurs, the sky often appears the darkest and the quietest. That deep stillness is the exact moment when I am working most intensely and precisely behind the scenes of your life. I am quietly aligning the right people, orchestrating the perfect circumstances, and moving every missing piece into its exact position to bring about a full, undeniable victory for you. The profound pain you carried and the brutal trials you survived were never meant to break you. They were allowed to expand your capacity, to refine your character, and to prepare your spirit for the weight of the glory that is coming. Every single tear you have quietly shed in the dark has been collected and treasured by me. Not a single drop of your sorrow has been wasted or forgotten. You are still standing today because I never let go of your hand, even when you felt too weak to hold on. Lay down the exhausting need to carry this heavy burden all by yourself. A divine transition is happening right now. Your dry season is officially over, and the door to your total restoration is swinging wide open. Stay here with me, keep your heart soft and expectant, and watch how beautifully I reveal the next phase of your destiny. My child, I want you to pause right here and take a deep, slow breath in this quiet space we have carved out together. Let the frantic rush of the world fade entirely into the background and allow my peace to envelop your weary soul. I need you to consciously realize your true position in my kingdom right now. You are not someone who has been left behind, forgotten in the cold shadows to fend for yourself. You are not a beggar, desperately pleading for the discarded crumbs of life, or hoping for just a tiny fraction of joy to come your way. Your true identity, the absolute essence of who you are, is infinitely more noble, sacred, and beautiful than any of your past traumas or current fears have ever allowed you to believe. The long, exhausting years of dryness, the painful cycles of unexpected delays, and the repeated disappointments you faced have accidentally created a dangerous habit within your mind. They have conditioned you to label yourself as a failure, as someone who is perpetually unlucky, or as an outsider destined to watch others receive their blessings from afar. When you look into the mirror, you only see the physical lines of exhaustion on your face, Eyes that are incredibly heavy from countless sleepless nights of overthinking, and a fragile spirit covered in the jagged scars of betrayal and abandonment. But when I look at you, my beloved child, I do not see those toxic, limiting labels. I look past the scars, and I see a magnificent, resilient warrior who has courageously survived the most brutal, unseen battles in the darkest valleys. Battles that absolutely no one around you could ever begin to comprehend. I see a pure, beautiful soul that, despite being violently shaken by the storms of life, has stubbornly protected the flickering flame of faith deep within. The time has officially come for you to step completely out of the survival mindset and prepare your heart to step into the fullness of your true inheritance. The profound emotional and spiritual awakening that I am pouring out upon you at this very moment is, at its core, a complete restoration of your divine entity. The greatest and most impactful blessing that I am about to release into your life is not merely an external change in your finances, your career, or your relationships, though those shifts are certainly coming. The ultimate miracle is a radical, beautiful transformation in how you see yourself through my eyes. When your identity is firmly rooted and anchored in my unyielding, unconditional love, no sudden economic crisis, no malicious judgment from the world, and no painful betrayal from those you once trusted will ever be able to shake or destroy your inner peace again. Let my divine compassion gently unburden your heart today, and stop identifying yourself with the wounds that were only meant to temporarily refine you. You might wonder why this spectacular turning point is manifesting right now in this exact season, rather than years ago when you were constantly weeping and begging me to change your circumstances. I need you to understand my perfect wisdom. If I had released this immense breakthrough too early, while your mind was still dominated by a wounded ego or a paralyzing fear of scarcity, you would have accidentally turned the blessing into an idol or a fragile crutch to lean on. I love you far too much to ever allow you to become dependent on the fleeting, unstable values of this world. I patiently protected you through the long, painful winter, allowing you to feel deeply unsatisfied with shallow, temporary answers until your soul finally hungered for true, everlasting direction. You have grown exceptionally strong through the testing. You no longer chase after the loud, empty noise of validation, but you truly treasure the quiet, unshakable peace of my presence. The hidden preparation in the dark is completely finished, and divine alignment is precisely moving to usher you into the most magnificent harvest season of your life. Rest your mind, stay beautifully still, and know that I am right beside you, guiding your every step into the glorious light. My child, listen to me closely in this next moment as we stand together on the very precipice of this glorious new chapter. I see a hidden shadow lingering in the deep, quiet corners of your heart. It is a subtle, agonizing fear that you haven't even dared to whisper out loud to anyone else. It is the terrifying voice that whispers, "What if I finally receive my breakthrough, only to lose it? What if I am too damaged from the years of wandering to actually hold on to this blessing? What if I make a mistake and ruin everything God has prepared for me?" You have been living in the suffocating courtroom of your own mind for so long, constantly acting as both the harsh prosecutor and the guilty defendant, endlessly reviewing the ledger of your past mistakes, your perceived failures, and the moments you stumbled in the dark. You are terrified that this good news is merely a cruel illusion, a temporary high before another devastating crash. Hear my voice breaking through that heavy condemnation today. I have already thrown that ledger away. The courtroom in your mind is officially dismissed. I am not entering your life with a checklist of your past flaws, nor am I bringing a magnifying glass to inspect your human worthiness. If your spectacular breakthrough depended entirely on your perfection, the doors would remain locked forever. But this great shift is not about your performance. It is about my unyielding grace. It is about my sovereign, unconditional love that chooses you simply because you are mine. When I look at you, I do not see the shattered fragments of a broken vessel. I see a beautifully refined masterpiece that is perfectly prepared to hold the weight of my glory. The enemy desperately wants you to remain paralyzed by the ghost of who you used to be, but I am entirely focused on who you are becoming right now in my presence. You must realize that the keys I am placing in your hands are master keys of divine favor. When I open a door for you in this new season, no human jealousy, no worldly system, and no lingering self-doubt can ever lock it back up. You do not have to walk on eggshells anymore, constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, or bracing yourself for the joy to be cruelly snatched away. What I build in your life is meant to last. What I give to you is deeply anchored in eternity. The long waiting season has completely cured you of the superficial pride that ruins lesser hearts. It has made you humble, compassionate, and profoundly grateful. That inner transformation is your ultimate protection. Stop treating this upcoming joy like a fragile piece of glass that will shatter at your slightest mistake. It is an unshakable inheritance. Take a deep restorative breath right now and let the residual guilt wash completely out of your spirit. You are worthy because I have made you worthy. Step forward into the light. Keep your eyes fixed entirely on my promise, and let the peace of total acceptance anchor your soul as we step together into the breathtaking manifestation of your true destiny. My child, let us speak now about the total restoration of the very atmosphere surrounding your daily life. For years, your home has felt like a holding cell of perpetual anticipation, a physical space weighed down by the heavy, silent dust of unanswered questions. You walk through your rooms and the walls seem to echo with the agonizing sighs you uttered when you thought absolutely no one was listening. Even your physical body has deeply absorbed this long-term spiritual and emotional tension. Look at the tight stiffness that constantly grips your shoulders, the shallow, restricted breathing you adopt when sudden anxiety squeezes your chest, and the subtle, persistent weariness in your eyes that a simple night of sleep never quite seems to fix. These are the physical receipts of a soul that has been trapped in survival mode for far too long. But hear my voice breaking through the density of that past today, as the waiting season officially dissolves into history. I am completely cleansing the atmosphere of your life. I am sweeping away the stagnant, suffocating air of delay and replacing it with a fresh, vibrant wind of divine favor. You will literally feel the physical weight lifting off your chest. Your home will transform from a dark shelter where you hide from your brutal battles into a sacred sanctuary where you celebrate your magnificent victories. I am going to restore to you the exact years that felt utterly lost to the locus of frustration and stagnation. Think about the precious relationships that grew deeply strained under the immense pressure of your prolonged winter. The friendships that slowly drifted away because you simply did not have the emotional capacity to maintain them, and the beautiful dreams you quietly buried in the backyard of your mind because hoping felt far too painful. I am bringing a cascading wave of supernatural restoration to every single one of these areas. This imminent breakthrough is not going to be a tiny, isolated drop of rain. It will be an absolute downpour that overflows beautifully into your family, your physical health, and your immediate surroundings. You will witness a radical renewal of your physical vitality. The life energy that chronic anxiety drained from your body will be fully and beautifully replenished by my spirit. I am actively repairing the hidden internal wear and tear that years of constant stress and psychological pressure inflicted upon your well-being. But as this incredible freshness begins to manifest in your reality, you must actively resist the old, familiar urge to worry. Human nature has a tragic, dangerous habit of becoming completely addicted to its own familiar suffering. When you have lived inside a chaotic foxhole for a decade, a peaceful, open meadow can initially feel terrifyingly exposed. You might find yourself looking at your new blessings and nervously waiting for an invisible trap to spring. You might catch your mind desperately searching for a crisis, simply because your spirit is so heavily conditioned to fighting. I am commanding you today, lay down your weapons permanently. The war is over. Do not allow the phantom memory of past poverty, past loneliness, or past heartbreak to dictate how you manage your current abundance. Learn to accept my immense goodness without a single ounce of suspicion. Walk through these newly opened doors with your head held high, not bracing for a cruel blow, but expectantly waiting for a spectacular blessing. You are officially stepping into the unforced rhythms of grace, where every missing piece aligns beautifully without your frantic, exhausting striving. Trust the absolute stability of the foundation I have laid beneath your feet, and allow your heart to fully expand to receive the divine overflow. My child, I want you to understand that divine alignment is an intricate, silent masterwork that extends far beyond your immediate line of sight. During those long, agonizing months when you felt as though your life was completely frozen in place, you were looking only at your own closed doors, but I was looking at the entire global tapestry of your destiny. I was not only working within your fragile heart, I was actively rearranging the external world around you. I was shifting timelines, orchestrating geographic changes, and moving the right people into their designated positions so that when your manifestation arrives, it arrives with absolute stability. Some of the opportunities you desperately fought to keep years ago had to be intentionally dissolved because they were tied to environments that would have eventually suffocated your calling. If I had answered your prayers back then, on your human schedule, you would have inherited a temporary comfort that would have quickly transformed into a permanent prison. Think about the painful, confusing subtractions you experienced during your waiting room season. Think about the people who suddenly grew cold toward you, the mentors who abruptly stepped out of your life, and the close circles where you suddenly felt like a complete stranger. You spent months crying over those losses, desperately analyzing what you did wrong and begging me to restore those broken connections. But hear my truth today. Those departures were not your personal failures. They were my divine evictions. I was actively removing voices from your inner circle that were simply not equipped or qualified to travel to the high places I am taking you. Some of those individuals loved who you used to be in your survival mode, but they would have felt deeply threatened by the empowered, restored version of who you are becoming right now. I had to create a sacred, quiet vacuum around your life so that you could finally learn to hear my gentle whisper without the constant, toxic interference of human opinions. As you stand on the very edge of this massive shift, you will begin to notice that doors are starting to unlock completely without your frantic force. You will experience casual conversations that suddenly turn into life-altering opportunities. You will find resources flowing toward your vision without you having to manipulate or compromise your integrity to get them. This beautiful ease is the ultimate sign that my divine timing has officially intersected with your spiritual readiness. You no longer have to run yourself into total exhaustion to prove your worth to this world. You no longer have to scream to be heard or beg to be seen by those who are blind to your value. Your waiting season has done its profound work. It has anchor-weighted your soul in pure humility and unshakable dignity. You are finally ready to step out of the shadows of preparation and step fully into the brilliant light of your promised land. Take a deep, restorative breath. Let go of the residual panic of the past and walk forward with the absolute certainty that every single step you take is being beautifully ordered by my hand. My child, let us sit quietly and address a profound shift that must now take place within your emotional default setting. You have spent so many years navigating the cold, predictable landscape of lack and restriction that your mind has actually developed a strange, defensive comfort within it. When you are constantly expecting a storm, your survival instincts are sharp, alert, and hyper-focused. But now, as I pull you out of the wilderness and plant your feet firmly into a land of overflowing milk and honey, a new kind of vulnerability is required of you. You must give yourself permission to embrace your soul. You must consciously allow yourself to experience genuine joy, deep laughter, and unshakable security without looking over your shoulder, waiting for a sudden tragedy to steal it away. I see the subtle hesitation in your spirit when good things begin to happen. I notice how you secretly hold your breath when a door opens, or how you instantly downplay a moment of favor because you are terrified that if you celebrate too loudly, the universe will somehow punish your happiness. That paralyzing pattern is a lingering symptom of the emotional trauma you carried during the long, brutal winter. It is the voice of the enemy trying to convince you that your blessings are fragile, temporary, and conditional. But I am here to break that psychological chain today. My goodness toward you is not a trap. I do not give you peace just to snatch it back when you finally let your guard down. What I am releasing into your life right now is a permanent inheritance, custom built to sustain you for the rest of your days. Think about the sheer amount of mental and spiritual energy you have wasted trying to manage scenarios that never even happened. You have pre-grieved losses that were never in my blueprint, and you have braced yourself for blows that I never intended to strike. I am calling you out of that exhausting cycle of phantom warfare. Your primary assignment in this beautiful, unfolding season is simply to receive. When abundance flows into your life, do not question it, do not overanalyze it, and do not feel guilty for experiencing it. You did not earn this breakthrough through your own human striving, so you cannot lose it through your human imperfection. It is a sovereign gift of my grace, timed perfectly to match the newly matured depth of your soul. Let the quiet, steady warmth of my presence melt away the very last traces of your defensive armor tonight. The long, agonizing fight to simply survive is officially over. You are no longer standing on the defensive front lines of a brutal war. You are sitting safely at a royal banquet table that I have prepared specifically for you in the presence of everything that once tried to destroy you. Take a deep, slow, unhurried breath. Relax the muscles in your face. Release the tight tension in your hands and allow your beautiful heart to fully expand. You are safe, you are profoundly loved, and you are finally allowed to step out of the shadows and live in the brilliant, unclouded light of your true destiny. My child, look closely at how a master weaver creates a grand, magnificent tapestry. If you were to look only at the backside of the canvas, all you would see is a chaotic mess of tight knots, tangled threads, and random clashing colors that seem to make absolutely no logical sense. For years, your life has felt exactly like the back of that tapestry. You looked at your circumstances and saw only the confusing knots of heartbreak, the tangled threads of delayed promises, and the heavy, dark colors of grief and isolation. You cried out to me in deep frustration, asking why the pattern of your life looked so incredibly messy, broken, and completely unfinished. But hear my voice breaking through your confusion today. I have always been the master weaver, and I have never once lost control of a single thread in your story. Right now, in this very season, I am gently, completely turning the canvas around. You are finally about to see the front of the masterpiece. You are about to see how every agonizing delay, every sudden betrayal, and every silent season of tears was perfectly, precisely placed to create a breathtaking pattern of divine purpose and ultimate victory. What is coming next will completely and permanently rewrite the narrative of your past struggles. For far too long, you have introduced yourself to the world through the critical lens of your deepest wounds. You became subtly comfortable defining your entire identity by what you lost, who walked away from you, and how many exhausting years you have been forced to wait in the dark. But I am stripping away those old, limiting definitions today. I am giving you a brand new name and a glorious new testimony. The very people who once looked at you and saw only a tragic story of struggle, hardship, and perpetual waiting will look at you tomorrow and see an undeniable, brilliant monument of my supernatural grace and favor. You will no longer be known as the one who was left behind in the shadows. You will be known as the one who was uniquely chosen for a spectacular historical restoration. Do not spend another second worrying about how much time you think you have lost during this long, painful winter. In my kingdom, one single day of divine favor can instantly restore 20 years of human stagnation. I am actively compressing time on your behalf right now. I am accelerating your physical healing, multiplying your emotional resources, and fast-tracking the manifestation of the ancient promises I made to your heart in the secret place. The years you spent weeping in the dark were not empty spaces of wasted time. They were the wholly necessary incubation period for the heavy weight of glory you're about to carry into the light. Take a deep, slow, unhurried breath right now. Let the deep, unshakable certainty of my total acceptance wash away the very last remnants of your anxiety. The waiting is officially over, the pattern is complete, and the breathtaking beauty of your true destiny is finally unfolding before your eyes. My child, look closely at your hands right now. Take a moment to examine them in this quiet, sacred stillness. These are the hands that have worked tirelessly, the hands that have held on to hope when everything else was slipping away, and the hands that you have tightly clasped together in desperate, hidden prayers when your voice could no longer find the words. You have used these hands to shield others from the harsh, biting winds of life, completely absorbing the pain so that those you love wouldn't have to suffer the way you did. You have carried a deep generational weight of exhaustion, fighting silent battles that your parents and ancestors fought, constantly walking through the same dry, desolate wilderness, and endlessly wondering if the cycle of struggle would ever be broken. But hear my voice breaking through your family lineage today. The cycle of generational exhaustion stops completely with you. You are not just receiving a quick, superficial blessing for your own personal comfort. You are actively establishing a brand new foundation of divine favor for your entire bloodline. The agonizing doors that violently slammed in your face, the opportunities that were cruelly stripped away from you, and the heavy years of restriction you endured were not meant to break your spirit. They were allowed because I chose you to be the courageous breaker of the mold. I needed a heart that was strong enough to endure the brutal heat of the refinement without turning bitter. Because you stubbornly chose to stay faithful in the dark, because you refused to curse my name when the winter felt completely endless, you have earned a weight of spiritual authority that cannot be bought with silver or gold. The blessings I am pouring out upon you right now are so massive, so profound, and so unshakable that they will overflow beautifully into the lives of your children, your grandchildren, and the generations you will never even live to see. Your legacy will no longer be defined by the heavy dust of the waiting room, but by the brilliant, blinding light of my absolute restoration. As we stand on the very threshold of this final, majestic unfolding, I need you to completely rid your mind of the toxic fear of regression. The enemy will try to whisper that this piece is just a temporary intermission before the next disaster strikes. He wants you to look at your past scars and believe that you are forever damaged goods, destined to slip back into the cold foxhole of survival mode. Do not entertain those lying phantoms for a single second. When I deliver you from the wilderness, I do not leave a trail for the enemy to follow you. The rescue is total, the alignment is eternal, and the seal of my favor upon your life is completely irreversible. You are officially moving from the shifting, unstable sands of human effort into the unshakable citadel of divine inheritance. Rest your weary soul, let your guard down completely, and prepare your heart to step into the final, breathtaking piece of your spectacular breakthrough. My child, we have finally arrived at the sacred threshold of this divine conversation, but I need you to understand with absolute certainty that this is far from an ending. This is your glorious, long-awaited beginning. As these words settle softly into the deepest, most quiet chambers of your soul, look at the profound shift that has already occurred within your spirit over these past few moments. The chaotic, roaring storm of anxiety that fiercely dominated your mind when you first paused to listen to my voice has officially lost its power. The heavy, suffocating fog of confusion that made you feel so tragically lost and left behind has completely evaporated in the brilliant light of my absolute truth. What you are feeling right now, this deep, unexplainable, and beautifully steady warmth spreading through your chest, is not a fleeting emotional high. It is the permanent anchor of my divine presence, locking your soul into a state of unshakable peace that the world can never give and can never take away. The thick, heavy doors of your long waiting room season have officially closed behind you, and they have been locked forever by my own sovereign hand. You will never have to wander through that cold, desolate wilderness of isolation again. Step forward now with your head held high, completely unburdened and beautifully free. You are no longer a captive to your past traumas, no longer a victim of repeated disappointments, and no longer defined by the painful scars of those who walked away from you. The blueprint of your spectacular destiny is fully activated in the spiritual realm, and the physical manifestation of your breakthrough is already flowing into your reality like an undeniable, rushing river. I have beautifully aligned every single missing piece of your life. I have gone ahead of you to level the towering mountains of obstacle, to make the crooked paths perfectly straight, and to prepare an abundance of favor that will leave you absolutely speechless. Your unique assignment as you step into the brilliant light of this promised land is simply to remain rooted in pure humility, deep gratitude, and absolute trust. Do not let the loud, superficial noise of the world pull you away from the sacred stillness we have built here together. Whenever the fleeting phantoms of fear, doubt, or worry try to creep back into your thoughts, immediately return to this quiet sanctuary of my love. Remember who you are. Remember whose you are. You are my deeply cherished, uniquely chosen, and unconditionally loved child, and my favor upon your life is an everlasting, irreversible covenant. Before you move forward into the glorious abundance of this new day, let us permanently seal this divine word in the heavens. If your heart is fully ready to release the heavy armor of survival, if you are truly prepared to step out of the cold shadows of delay and fully embrace the breathtaking joy of your total restoration. I want you to claim it boldly right now. Type Amen to lock in this blessing, or type I receive my divine restoration, Lord, to open the floodgates of my grace over your soul. Share this profound message with someone else who is currently weeping in the dark, because as you become a conduit of hope for others, I will multiply the blessings in your own life 100-fold. Rest your weary mind completely tonight. Relax your body. Let go of every remaining ounce of control and sleep in the absolute security of my embrace. Your long, agonizing winter is officially over. The fresh spring of your victory has begun, and I am walking right beside you, holding your hand through every single beautiful step of the way. Amen.